What's up, tech fans? Kevin here on Tech Tomorrow. Now, as many of you are aware, this past week was E3 2014, the Electronic Entertainment Expo, which is arguably the biggest convention for all things gaming. This is where we get some of the biggest news, announcements, and updates from some of the biggest game producers and developers. And as a result of it, I wanted to bring you guys my top 5 most anticipated PC games that were either announced or we finally got to see some new gameplay for at this E3. Now, this list is going to be limited to games that are coming out within the next year, before next E3. We're not going to talk about games coming out in holiday of 2015 or 2016 releases. This is all stuff we're going to see within the next 12 months. Now, as always with most of my lists, I am not trying to argue that these are objectively the best and they're going to be the best at release. I'm not trying to say that these are the 5 most popular that everyone's waiting for. These are just the 5 that I am personally most excited to see come out and can't wait to get my hands on to bring you guys proper reviews of. So with that being said, let's check them out. First up on the list, ranking in at number 5, is The Evil Within. Being produced by Bethesda Softworks with development overlooked by Shinji Mikami, the man responsible for starting one of the biggest horror franchises around, Resident Evil. The Evil Within is an attempt to get horror games back to their roots, while still maintaining some degree of action. The emphasis has been so heavy on the fear that their presentation for it at E3 was to stick people in a dark room and watch and record their reactions to the game's frightening scenes. Whether or not this game actually succeeds in reviving the horror genre is of course yet to be seen, but it's a hope shared by many and has been backed up by some really good looking previews. We're just going to have to wait until October 21st to find out for sure. Now, ranking at number 4 and sharing the same release date as The Evil Within is Evolve. This is the next game to come out from Turtle Rock Studios, the team responsible for bringing us the Left 4 Dead series, and now they're bringing us an asymmetrical FPS featuring 4 players playing 4 distinct classes with their own abilities up against a single player-controlled monstrosity, which feeds on other monsters to evolve and gain more abilities and become that much bigger of a threat. This was a huge hit at this year's E3's floor show, with producer 2K Games actually holding a tournament for the game, giving us a great idea of how it's actually going to handle and play once we finally get our hands on it this October. Now, ranking number 3 on the list for me is the 4th, or depending on who you talk to, the 3rd game of the Batman Arkham series, Batman Arkham Knight. Rocksteady is back, developing this installment, finishing the plot and timeline they created with Batman Arkham Asylum. Their second installment, Arkham City, expanded on the gameplay greatly by opening up the world, putting you on the streets, and Knight looks to be continuing this trend by adding in the Batmobile and even more famous recurring Batman villains, including the introduction of Scarecrow. The gameplay demo we saw at this E3 was, for the lack of a better word, intense, and this will hopefully be the sequel and finish to the series that we've all been hoping for. We'll just have to find out in early 2015. Now, ranking at number 2 is Ubisoft's 4th venture in first-person wilderness survival, Far Cry 4. After Far Cry 3's surprise smash hit of 2012, followed by its incredible standalone DLC Blood Dragon in 2013, Far Cry quickly went from being a fairly popular single-player FPS to one of the biggest open-world shooters. Far Cry 4 looks to be continuing and building upon the Foundation's 3 set, introducing new kinds of vehicles, a new setting up in the mountains, and a new villain that looks to be just as, if not a slightly different brand of crazy, as the ever-popular Voss. Planned to be released right smack dab in the middle of the holiday rush, we'll just have to wait until November 18th to find out whether or not 4 successfully maintains the hype that Far Cry 3 began. Now, coming in at number 1 on my list of the top 5 most anticipated games coming out in the next year, and really showing my roots as an RPG fan, is The Witcher 3: The Wild Hunt. Since last E3, we've seen trailers and quick looks at how this game is meant to expand on the Witcher universe, adding a more open-world element. But this year, during Microsoft's press conference, we finally got to see some real gameplay in action, of Geralt hunting down a monster, and getting involved in a bandit skirmish along the way. Not only is this game just ridiculously pretty, but the combat looks to be even more refined, giving it a major boost over one of the problems of the series' last installment. And if it can maintain the same level of narrative and feeling of choice and consequence, it could easily be one of the strongest releases of the year when it comes out near the end of February 2015. So there you have it, guys, my personal top 5 most anticipated games to come out in the next year that we got to see new trailers for or new gameplay for at this year's E3. Now keep in mind that while I am really excited for all these games to come out, by no means do I recommend buying these games blindly without a second thought. You should always check out for reviews or listen to other gamers' opinions. I will be buying them day one, but just so I can bring you guys my thoughts as soon as possible and let you know whether or not they live up to the hype. Now if you guys enjoyed this video, please make sure to go to town on that like button to let us know. And if you just happen to stumble upon this video and you're not a subscriber yet, then you should hit that subscribe button too, because you've always got more great PC content on the way. And if you guys want to see more videos from me, I have posted some other channels I post content to down in the description. I posted a number of E3 videos on my personal channel. Make sure to check it out. I also have my Twitter link down below as well. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching our videos. Until next time, I'm Kevin for Tech of Tomorrow, and I'll see you later.